Now, the first position goes to Rohit Kokane.
Palak bhai, please.
Congratulations, Rohit, on your podcast Motivation Spark.
Rohit, are you here? Can you hear us? Yeah.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for presenting me this opportunity from myself. And it has been a pleasure to listening to all of the jury member and the members of the Jio Institute. I'm really honored, and I started my podcast Motivation Spark with just an intent that the change makers of this century should be brought to the focus, because there are a lot of untold stories that I feel that needs kind of an attention, because we always try to have this kind of a notion that there are the people who have got a lot of followers or the social media presence are only being succeeding into the industry, but that's not the case, and that was the real intent. If we need to kind of progress into our lives, or say if we want a kind of a dose of motivation to progress in our life to make that personal development, we always need a kind of like propulsion magnet, that is motivation. So I always wanted to bring out those stories in the quest of improving myself as well. So that is all about Motivation Spark, and it has been making rounds. I want to thank you, the entire team of Done For You podcast, who has been working onto this podcast with a lot of efforts, because there is not just about the recording, there are a lot of elements that goes behind the podcasting. So it's been a pleasure, and it's my first, so I could have been present out there, but never mind, it's always a honor, and listening to the jury was quite an honor. So thank you so much, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
The power comes when you do it and sing. अगर साथ में बजाना नहीं सीखा तो आदमी बजा रहे खट क्या फायदा उसका। तो अभी नेक्स्ट आदमी जब बोलेगा तो साथ में
Yes, sir.
इसके बोलने पे नहीं।
There's a tie in the second position, and the award for the best podcast in the professional category, second position, goes to Asha Girdhar for her podcast Once Upon a Time, and Vivek Rawat for his show Moral Take.
Say that Chandrayaan is on the moon, but I'm over the moon. And with the energy of this room. Thank you so much for the honor. It's more than a privilege to me. It came totally out of the blue, invitation to send my podcast, my first podcast. I'm passionate about storytelling. I've been writing stories for over 35 years, mostly in print. This was my first attempt at a podcast series in stories. The title of the series is Once Upon a Tide. It's a series of stories that bring out the child in you. That was the intention. So they are stories of value, stories to encourage, the wonderment of life, if nothing else. And I think that's what keeps us alive and young forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vivek, are you there?
First of all, thank you all
मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी देने के लिए एंड ये फर्स्ट टाइम है कि मुझे कोई अवार्ड मिल रहा है एंड ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है क्योंकि जब मैंने पॉडकास्ट शुरू किया था तो मुझे पता नहीं था कि मैं यहाँ तक भी आ पाऊँगा। तो सच में मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है। थैंक यू आप सबका कि यहाँ तक ये अवार्ड मुझे मिल रहा है एंड मुझे कहानी लिखने का शौक था एंड उसी शौक को मैं यहाँ तक लेके अभी 1 साल हो जब ये पॉडकास्ट शुरू किया था मैंने सोचा तक नहीं था बट सपना था कि हाँ एक टाइम आएगा कि इस चीज़ के लिए मुझे अवार्ड मिले एंड थैंक यू सो मच।
The award for the best podcast, third position in the professional category goes to Rakesh for his podcast India Unveiled. Yeah, hi. I would like to thank you everyone for this opportunity. So I hosted a podcast named India Unveiled, and I would like to ask you something. Can you tell me which was the biggest denomination of Indian currency? Anyone? Yeah, correct. 10,000, but it was demonetized in 1978. Thank you everyone. And for these more these facts and history, tune into my podcast India Unveiled on all leading platforms. Thank you. Thank you. May I now call upon the stage our jury members Aditya and Suchita to give away the next award. The next award is for the best podcast, first position in the student category, and the winner is Vidima Sharma. Vidima is joining us virtually.
Hello everyone. I'm so much glad to have this opportunity. I just uploaded my podcast. It was my first attempt to upload the podcast, and I uploaded an interview with Mr. Vasudev Murthy. He is the writer. I'm very glad to have this opportunity. Thank you so much.
At second position, we have Avantika Bharat for her mental health podcast, Beautiful You.
Hi everyone. I started the podcast Beautiful You in November 2021. It started off as a medium to advocate for mental health and share my mental health journey. I'm a psychology student and we read about like case studies and cases and symptoms all the time. But when I started to be a part, share my journey, I got to know that other people resonated with parts of my journey and they were like, oh, I came across your episode and I feel less alone or stuff like that. So it's like, it started off as just me advocating for my journey and then it ventured into having different people. So anyone who has a who has a message regarding mental health healing, they're welcome on the podcast. It is a medium to have a safe space to build a community of people. And I realized when you have a candid conversation with someone who has gone through something which is not much talked about, especially in a country like India, the amount of insight and empathy that you get and the way that it normalizes mental health disorders and living with it is incredible. So there's a lot of power in, again, storytelling like we talked about throughout the entire journey. And thank you so much for all the jury members. It was such a wonderful time listening to you everyone, and thank you for this wonderful event. So yeah, it's available on Spotify and YouTube. Feel free to join in and let me know what you think. Thank you.
Thank you everyone, and heartiest congratulations to all the participants.